Hello everyone, Charles from the Bible Unbound, and today we're going to take a look at the Legacy Note-taking Bible from Holman. Now we've taken a look at a few of the note-taking options on our channel recently, and I have another couple good ones to take a look at. And this one is the Legacy Note-taking Bible, which I think would be very good. This is not an overly overstated Bible, but it is a high quality, really nice Bible. And we'll take a look at the back and show you some of the features before I open it up and show you this gorgeous cover that's on it. So the features on this is a wide margin with space to record your notes. Then there's an extended presentation section in the beginning, which I really like. You guys love this. There's a special note-taking concordance and to record your legacy notes on the back. So special instructions on how to use this Bible to leave a legacy of faith. Smyth-sewn binding, single column text, 9-point font, black letter text in the words of Christ, and full color maps in the back. There's your ISBN number if you want to take a look at it there. But what I liked about this was it looks like they had another one of these type of Bibles before, these note-taking Bibles with these kind of a leather with the strap on them. I've seen a couple of manufacturers do these, but this is a very beautiful, it's like almost suede leather on here with this really nice closure flap. So as we get into this is very, very nice. I love this cover. The only issue is this type of leather does scratch really easy, but it'll buff out with your fingers pretty nicely. So these little smaller scuffs and scratches will buff out, but you'll notice it caught my ring really, really easily. So this is, I think it's going to age well and it's going to look well, but at first any little scuffs and scratches you will see, but most of them will kind of buff out a little there if you like rub them with your finger. Pretty nice. I do like the way this looks. So it's perimeter stitched all the way around, and you'll notice that even the strap is stitched into the cover. Let's line this up a little bit more. So the strap is stitched into the cover. That very nice perimeter stitching all the way around into the edge line tab. Now it's a little stiff, but I think that will actually get better over time. You have your initial presentation page, and I like this tooling design around here for this design. So it's made to look like it's a little bit more antiqued. And into the very first, in the beginning of the book, that has your heritage information. So a lot of the Bibles that are designed to be passed down will do things like have sections here, like where you put your certificate of marriage, your husband's family tree, your wife's family tree, family memories, birth and adoptions, marriages and deaths in the family, important events, and another section of notes for the family itself. It's a nice little touch. So something that's made to be handed down, something like this you would hope to be passed down to at least one or maybe even 2 generations. And all this information would be a godsend to have for people that are doing genealogy. I would love to have had something like that if I was doing genealogy. Into the Legacy Note-taking Bible, the copyright page. Looks like this is the 2024 printing. There are 3 different bindings to it. There's a Spanish tile and leather touch over board, a tan genuine leather with a strap, which is what this one is, and a tan leather touch. And you have a how to use the Legacy, the CSB Legacy Note-taking Bible, the books of the Bible for your Old Testament and New Testament references, your introduction to your Christian Standard Bible. You hear me say it on every Bible. Read that preface at least one time, because in the CSB especially, there are some neat features in here that aren't in most Bibles, and it's good to know that little tidbit, which will become really prevalent in the New Testament. I'll show you when we get to it. So as we get into the Bible itself, you have this really nice margin on the side to write in. It's like almost a little over 2 inches, and it's slightly yellow paper. to help your reading over time. You'll notice there are no footnotes in here, and there's no cross-references in the bottom. There's only your book note for which chapter and verse that the page starts on and the page ends on the tops. Very nice large bolded letters, numbers I should say, for the chapters. And your standard verse numbers are in here that are pretty well in line with the text. They don't seem to be overly bolded, so they will get lost in the text, which is perfect if you're trying to read for long stretches. That is very nice to see. Now, even though there aren't any spots with cross references, you will see maybe a couple of notes that'll be in your bottom of your section where you take notes. And as we get to the end of the book itself, there is something that I want to show. So at the end of each of the books, they have a section that they kind of blocked off in your note-taking section where you would put your key verses to memorize in each of the books. So that's a nice little thing, even though I think I would put those in the margin themselves. That's where I would use to memorize them from. But it looks like this would take very well to highlighting and note-taking. The pages are slightly thin, but this is that more sort of cream, not quite shiny Bible paper, which I think would take very well to pencil and colored pencil as well. Not having the footnotes and references in the bottom leads you to be able to space out the writing in there, and they use up every bit of space so that way you can make the text a little bit bigger. And it's amazing how much gutter space they leave you here, so it's not falling into the gutter. You'll notice here, like in Joshua, where they have this list of the kings, that there is show through, but with that line matching kind of helps you still be able to see it, so it isn't as overwhelming. And we'll jump ahead into a poetic section here. And you'll notice, like in Job, and when you get into the book of the Psalms, that this extra space is offset to where you have all this extra space to use if you wanted to use that for notes. It's so beautifully readable. It's just crisp. The text kind of jumps out to you like it should. We'll jump ahead into the New Testament. This is a black letter edition, so you have none of the red letter, which I think would kind of get lost in this sort of coloring as well. But one of the things that I said about in the beginning when I was talking about the preface is the CSB has a nice thing of when you see any bolded text, that is a direct reference to the Old Testament. Now, typically, when you have footnotes, you'll actually have it noted on there what the Old Testament reference is. Now, since they don't have footnotes or any cross-references in there, it makes it a little bit more difficult to go back and find that. But the beauty of a note-taking Bible is once you actually do that, you can note that off to the side for yourself. And it kind of helps you dive more in and kind of ask, why was that bolded? Maybe that's something to look at. I like that they do that. So there isn't a lot of bells and whistles in the back. So there is a very nice CSB concordance, which still has all that space for notes too. So that even if you want to take notes in the concordance, you can. It's very well done concordance with the actual word in bold and the scripture reference here. So instead of actually, doing the whole list of it and making it smaller, they actually take that entire section here, which before the maps, let me see if I can get a count of the pages before the maps. So there is 14, 90, 13. So there's well over 100 pages of concordance in the back here. That's very, very nicely done. So after that, you have your CSB maps, which are in more of a cardstock with that same kind of cream color. To your rear pasting sheet and your tab lock. That stitching all the way around, that is very, very nice. Now, I like the design on this that even goes well with the gilding. Is that really nice gilding? Typically, you don't see gilding on this type of a Bible. I saw another one that was similar to this, but they didn't have the gilding on there. And that is a really nice touch. Very, very beautifully done. So the construction, I think, is going to last. That would take very well to, you know, just walking, keeping. That little flap, I think, would do well if you were outside to keep the pages from flopping open. But yeah, I really like the look of this. This is beautiful, actually. I like the coloring in that leather. So with that, we're going to end today's video. As always, we ask you to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you like this, or if you have any other suggestions of something similar to this to let our viewers know about. We're always open to suggestions, and if it's something that we could show on the channel and bring to you, we'll definitely take a look at that and see if we can do that. So, as always, we hope that you have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. We hope to see you in the next video.